Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Agoracom, when we take the time to speak to small cap executives after they put out important news. We should be calling this one Beyond the Press Releases because we've got multiple press releases to talk about with Jay Hutton. You see him on the screen, CEO, Visibility Group Technologies, trades in Canada under VSBY, and for our friends in the US, VSBGF, and even for our friends in Europe on Frankfurt under 5VS. For those who are new to the story, and we're constantly bringing on new investors to the story, and why not? It's a fantastic one. Here's what you need to know. What does it do? Visibility is the world leader in proactive digital display. What does that mean? They take traditional static digital displays and/or cameras that you see in stores, arenas, and stadiums. They add on their artificial intelligence plus their machine learning to create real-time advertising and security solutions, the likes of which the world has never seen. I call it the intersection of marketing and security. More than just lip service, because everyone in the small cap world can talk a big game. The company's flagship project, and they've got a number of these, is with Grupo Modelo, which is part of the AB InBev, that's Anheuser-Busch group of companies. They're installing and managing an international in-store media network of up to 50,000 stores in Mexico and across Latin America. That's scheduled to happen by 2024. Active deployment is already underway in Mexico, Colombia, Peru, and Ecuador. As of last report that we got in 2021, we'll see if we can get an update on that. 5,000 locations were meant to be installed by the end of 2021. When it's done, it's going to be an international advertising network and also a real-time artificial intelligence security system for store owners, and it's going to be powerful. A number of other incredible collaborations, almost too many to go through. So let's get straight to it. Jay, welcome back to the show, my friend.
Thanks, George. Good to see you again.
Always great to see you. First things first, we know we've got 2 or 3 press releases to talk about that you put out in 2022. Big picture, how's everything going at Visibility Group?
Well, we're really delighted with the progress of the company. We're adding key personnel that allow the company to continue to focus on the execution elements in front of us. I feel like a bit of a broken record, but I've said this many, many times that we're not actually struggling with demand side at the moment. We're not out there shaking the tree for new deals. We're very focused on ensuring, like we are, of course, we never stop. In fact, my credo in the organization is we always have to be selling, I always have to be closing. But the focus of the organization, my focus, where I spend most of my day at the moment, is driving execution, ensuring that we have the proper execution team, identifying places where we might have gaps, whether they're inside our organization or external to our organization, and making sure that we're optimized to achieve maximum customer success.
Yeah, you've got the deals, you've got the collaborations, they're already at the table. Now it's just a matter of execution. That's a great position to be in, right, Jay? Most companies are, George Com Technologies is struggling for, if we can just get a partner, if we just get a couple of customers. You're not there, you've got them, it's just execution now.
Right, not to diminish execution as a task or an item for sure, but it is a discipline in and of itself, and it requires me as the CEO to message and guide the company in a slightly different way. I'll always be an offensively oriented CEO. I love the deal. For me, I love the strategy of the deal. So I kind of get sharp elbows when a big deal is happening. I try and force myself into the room on those deals. And because they report to me, I'm fairly successful in getting in the room, but that's a super comfortable area for me. And I'll always do that. But a lot of the organization is focused right now on ensuring that we reach optimal success and the gradients and the ways in which we measure that.
And let's talk about some of the deals that are on the table right now. The big one, the flagship, as I said, Grupo Modelo. We haven't seen any press releases out of there because we know you guys are in install and execution mode. But what's the status there? What can you tell us about, and are you able to talk about the number of installs you're at and what the targets look like for 2022? And most importantly, is it going as planned right now?
So I'm not allowed to talk about the number of stores deployed. And that's not me being cagey or any way cute. Think of the market dynamics. Just think of Mexico. In Mexico, Modelorama is the number 3 participant. They have 10,000 bricks and mortar locations in Mexico alone. They're behind OXXO and they're behind Arca. as a couple of other major competitors. But 7-Eleven is here, Circle K is here. There's a lot of players. So when I deal with the C-suite executive sponsors of this project at AB InBev, I'm here in Mexico City today. My next meeting is with our executive sponsor and our board.
Oh, that's great. So you're right on the ground.
But yeah, again, part of this inability to let the big deals go to others, that's an example of it. But the point is that they say to me, you cannot be arbitrary in talking about your cadence. Oh, well, I'm a public company. My shareholders deserve to know. We understand, but if you put a bullet in this thing that wakes up OXXO with Carlos Slim funding OXXO, and they one day open up this digital transformation initiative, then you've taken our edge away. So let us get to a critical mass, and their assessment of what critical mass is different than my assessment of what critical mass is. Let us get to critical mass, and then we'll talk about it. And I can tell you that they're at the point at the executive level of AB InBev that this project is now receiving accelerated resources and commitment, not still turning into not still assessing it, right? We've added another country. That's country number 5 now. We've not disclosed who that is yet, but we'll probably disclose it, soon. But I'm delighted with it. Sure, we're struggling with supply chain issues from time to time. Sure, we're continuing to train Tech Mahindra on installations. We're talking about moving people and equipment across borders in Latin America in the middle of COVID, thankfully resting a bit, but it was a supply chain. So it's incredibly complicated. We're doing this in traditional trade. A lot of people don't understand what traditional trade is. Well, I'll first tell you what it isn't. Traditional trade isn't Walmart or the Mexican equivalent to Walmart Chedraui. It's not high-end Whole Foods. It's 8 square meters convenience store on the corner of a dirt road in Merida, right? It is the hardest category to do this in. I wouldn't say that we gravitated to that. We looked forward to that, but here's where we are. And we're developing integrated digital transformation in traditional trade that hasn't seen any change in 30 years. So we're talking about a really significant, by the way, here's why it's important. The rest of the globe is 30% modern trade, 70% traditional trade. India, almost 100% traditional trade. Africa, traditional trade. Middle East, traditional trade. So if we end up at the end of this process being the guys that are experts on deployment of digital transformation in traditional trade, we could do worse than that. I mean, I'm very happy with that nomenclature and that label.
Yeah, because we in North America, right, we think of Walmart and all these great things. We don't think about traditional trade, which is most of the world.
Right. We cannot view other developing markets with the lens that we view our own market. You know, I've said this before, and perhaps shareholders are tired of me saying it, but in Latin America, 60% of overall commerce, not just AB InBev's commerce, but overall commerce is consumed through mom and pop equals traditional trade. 60%. In the US, 70% is through modern trade, big box, Target, Walmart, Loblaws in Canada.
George's corner store is
right.
the minority.
Right. And it's we can't think in American or Canadian terms about this market. And when we do, we end up making false assumptions. So, and I guess the important part is other places where we're going to get traction soon, because these take a while to land, is in other traditional markets where we've got this enormous expertise now and unique expertise.
So 2 things I'm getting out of that. A, the Grupo Modelo AB InBev is going great. It's going, nothing is ever perfect, but not to worry about, moving along nicely. And B, if I'm reading between the lines there, Jay, I think we've kind of talked about this in the past. You're getting interest from other parts of the world to say, hey, can you do this? So fair to say that you're actually actively working on other such deals?
Very large deal in the US. Again, I don't want shareholders emailing me saying, hey, where are you going to launch that deal that you mentioned? This just gives an example. I'm hopeful it gives an example of the cadence of the exposure we get, because you can't land every deal you get. And sometimes deals, we don't lose to competition. Rarely do we lose to competition. We just lose to inaction, right? Nothing happens.
Yeah, because this is
But
brand new. It's not like you're looking to sell widgets and displace Georgecom widgets as the widget, and then you're going to go and sell your widgets.
yeah,
This is brand new, so
yeah,
it takes
I'm
time
not,
to put it together.
well, I'm not trying to drive the interview here, George, but the reason we took the steps we took with WPP and Intel to publish an 80-page paper on the store as a medium and get that whole ecosystem launched, collaborating, and out there doing business together is precisely because it's brand new and precisely because it needs that industry leadership. The idea of a software company like VSBLTY providing the means for all that leadership, it's absurd. But you need Intel, the engine behind it, with their enormous wallet, enormous reach, international reach. There's no retailer in the world that we can't get to in 2 phone calls because of Intel. And on the brand side,
Powerful.
$2 of every $3 spent in media in the world today are spent through WPP. They're the dominant media player.
Okay, so hold that thought, because that takes me to my first question I've got in terms of press releases. You added David Roth from WPP onto the board. A lot of people don't realize the significance of that. So really quickly, in 30 seconds, how big is WPP? I want people to really understand it. And then what does it mean for David Roth to be joining the board of a small cap company, in trading in Canada and the US, but right there. What is it? So let's talk about those two things.
WPP, north of 50 billion size company. David Roth is the CEO of the store, which is all of the retail assets of WPP, all of the retail strategy, all of that component. Inside of WPP are 50 or 60 unique advertising agencies, regionally oriented or sometimes vertically oriented. An example would be the 2 largest CPGs, consumer packaged goods companies in the world. WPP is their exclusive worldwide AOR, agency of record. Unilever and Coca-Cola. They're the largest CPGs in the world. So you want to, and inside of WPP is Hogarth, which is the largest content creation company in the world. They film Super Bowl commercials down to web assets, like the whole enchilada of content. And they're enormous. They're like MGM, because, MGM films, or, they're just huge. Xaxis, largest digital, demand side platform for programmatic. So we all know that ads pop up on our phone from time to time based upon where we've been in our browsing history. A lot of that's run by DSPs. The largest DSP in the world is Xaxis. One of the largest, maybe 1 or 2. That's owned by WPP. And this business is going to programmatic, as an example. So you want to ask yourself why. First of all, why is WPP consenting to one of their executive officers?
Right. He can't just do it on his own.
Well, he had to get legal. He had to, it took a while. It took maybe 12 weeks. And the reason why is WPP sees, and David Roth in particular sees, the emergence of the store as a media channel to be potentially a threat. Why? If you understand that media dollars are placed principally by media agencies like WPP, conversation might go, hey, Coca-Cola, you've got $400 million to spend. It's our suggestion you spend 60% of it on the internet, 20% of it on print, 20% of it on broadcast. I'm making it up.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Whatever the ratios are. But they control that media spend. In Latin America, Winkle Media, our joint venture entity, is selling directly to the brands. Who loses when the brands make a purchase decision on that network? Who loses is the AOR. Who loses are the guys that don't place those media dollars. So when they look at what we're doing, success for us means that if they don't play a role, the big chunk of those media dollars is going to go elsewhere or be directly fulfilled. An example, BCG, Boston Consulting Group, perhaps the most widely recognized retail consulting group in the world, says that the store articulating as a media channel is $100 billion, not by 2030 or 2035, by 2025. So that's basically
billion, 100
100
billion.
billion.
I'm writing this down. That's why I'm taking these notes.
That's up and to the left at a 55-degree angle. I mean, this is enormous. It's bigger than, it's the most important media channel to emerge since the creation of the internet or broadcast TV. It's that important. And so the summary is, if WPP can play a founding role in the creation of those media channels, then they've got a founding role in placing advertisers into those channels. And so that's why they're part of the consortium. And that's why David's on our board.
And what is David there just to help? Obviously, part of it is going to be help guide, right? What do you see as his role joining the board? Because obviously, for him to join the board, he's taken it very seriously. It's a position of great responsibility. Where do you think he's going to be most valuable to the company?
Be clear that this is not our advisory board.
This
is not our advisory board that answers my phone call from time to time about certain questions. This is our fiduciary board that carries with it risk and a lot more governance on the fiduciary board than there is on the advisory board. On that board, which again was consented to by WPP globally, he gives me strategic value. We start to build the things that where we're combining efforts and cooperating in the creation of new markets. An example would be the store as a medium. And so we're already involved in their largest customers as they build a vision of the store as a media. We're being brought into those conversations by WPP. And it's a gift that keeps on giving, because if we execute well, and we're executing well, we will maintain that position and we'll grow the share.
But from a validation point of view, it just doesn't get any better, right, Jay? If someone had told you, a couple of years ago that David Roth would be on your board, WPP approved it, WPP sees the visibility as a leader in this and wants to, would you even, does the validation get any better than this?
Well, I'm an execution guy, and I want to, like every shareholder that emails me from time to time, when's the Q1 results? When's the fiscal result for 21 out? And, will that show growth and progress? And I believe that's going to be the ultimate metric. But to answer your question, to be able to have a guy at the end, and I talk to him every day. It's not like he's disengaged or passive, or I talked to him twice today. He's intimately involved in our strategy. He's a 30-year guy. He's been all over the world. We're activating all over the world right now. So the kind of value he can give to me in real time, not only that, but bridging to the agencies within the WPP, enormously valuable. And I think that will continue to pay dividends. I don't want to overstate it. We still have to execute. And he's not going to help me on the execution side. He'll help me on strategy. He'll help me on partnering, and he'll help me on selling.
Yeah, walking you right in the door. Right. I'm jealous. Look, I wish Agoracom, how about this? I wish Agoracom could be in a position like that. The position you've placed visibility in is unbelievable, Jay. So let's see how that all pans out. But I thought it was important to discuss that, because a lot of people, maybe a lot of shareholders, don't understand how powerful the appointment was and what it means.
That's okay. The entire sector has been hurt pretty badly over the last, 3 months. And I get frustrated against, our market cap and our value. It's come down. But I appreciate the point of view, and I appreciate we're being sort of not fact-based sectorized. We're tech, so we get exposed to this reduction. But I know that the answer is continuing to deliver results, continuing to execute, and continuing to grow the business with these strategic partners. So I know what needs to be done.
And this isn't unique to you. You've got, I was just watching CNBC earlier, PayPal down more than 50%, Facebook off 50%, Shopify off almost 70%. We're just in a risk. It doesn't mean tech is gone forever, but you and I are veterans. We've seen these cycles. There's risk on, and right now we're in risk off. It's just the way it goes. But the most important thing is that companies that are delivering, tech companies are delivering, are the ones that when risk on comes back, and it always does, because tech is going to drive the world for the next 100 years. Forget about the next 100 days. So does that, is that something shareholders should take comfort in, Jay, that, yeah, you'd like your share price and market cap be higher today,
Yes, of course. But I'm not
but it wouldn't
immune to the
impact anything
emotion.
anyways for now. You're in that super growth mode.
I'm not immune to the emotion of it all. I mean, I'm not. I don't like to see it any more than our shareholders like to see it. But it's good for me to hear from time to time that I've got company, even though that company, it's still lonely. But you're right. There'll be a flight to value, and there'll be a focus on value. And if we focus on the things that we know we need to focus on, I'm not going to say it 1,000 times, then eventually we'll get the treatment we deserve.
Yeah, and I have a guy, and this is something I'm going to just give to shareholders at home. Look, come April 23rd, I'm going to be 25 years in the small cap space officially, even longer in terms of equity marks, all that. And look at some of the best tech names: Tesla, Netflix, Amazon. They've all gone through these, great growth cycles. Then you've got these risk-off environments, but the underlying common denominator with all of them is execution. As long as you're bringing the business executing, then you've got a bright future ahead of you. We can't guarantee that. I'm not giving financial advice, but that's just the way tech goes. So let's talk about on that something exciting about tech. This Intel collaboration with your computer vision in their Metaverse retail experience, featuring stores and media.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to earlier. We put a series of one white paper out that has been followed up by the creation of a Metaverse app. At the end of this month, my colleague Linda is speaking on a panel at the Retail World Congress in Italy with WPP to talk about this. And that's the 500 or 600 largest retailers and brands in the world that attend that event. It's the first time it's happened in person in 3 years. But that's the kind of thing we're going to continue to tell the story. We're going to continue to chip away with our partners, Intel and WPP principally, though not exclusively just them. And because, as I said before, in order to achieve the vision of the store as a medium, it takes an ecosystem of partners. So that's the beginning of our narrative. If you look at our competition, VSBLTY's competition, no one's even close to talking with the kind of partners that we're talking to about this. So it doesn't mean that we're going to capture 100% of the market, nor really is that the objective.
No,
but
no.
As the marketplace appreciates this category, and as we get external validation like BCG, there's a Forbes article at the end of February saying it's not going to be worth 100 billion by 2025. It's going to be worth 52 billion by 2024. And I'm not sure that those are inconsistent. That's great. Either one is good. So we're continuing to see more and more people talk about the category.
And it's just amazing that you have just names like Intel, just kind of, it's almost a matter of fact now that they're collaborating with VSBLTY. There's no small cap company in the world that wouldn't envy just one of the multiple, and we haven't even talked about all of them. Forget about, the refrigerator in Barra. We can't even have time to go into all that, but I'm so impressed, and it's amazing.
Our CTO is the guest of Bill Pearson, who drives all Intel partnerships and collaborations, Senior VP, next month at an event, a technical event for developer community, which is why I'm not going, in April. So Intel is reaching out all the time for opportunities for us to do more and more collaboration with them. Not to mention the work we're doing with actual projects together. All that's marketing, if you will. And behind that, there's additional projects that we're actually doing together.
That's amazing. Hey, let's talk about quickly, because I know you got to run. You're in Mexico, and I think shareholders, guys, Jay's in Mexico talking to all the partners, everybody, and he's taking this time. So I want to make sure we wrap this up, because we want you getting back and throwing those elbows and getting into deals. Yeah. Austin GIS, that's kind of been in stealth mode. Remind everyone, especially the new people, what that is in 20 seconds, and where's that at right now?
I'll tell you what I know about that. So I'm on the board of Austin GIS, and for people that don't remember, VSBLTY took a 10% equity interest in Austin GIS in August of last year. And frustratingly, they've named 4 of the 5 partners, and the 5th partner has not been named yet. The 4 partners that have been named is HCL, a $16 billion market cap Indian systems integrator, SI, Tech Mahindra, a $20 billion Indian systems integrator, SI, Visibility, Radar App. Those two companies, Radar App and Visibility, built the Mexican deployment, which is right now at 17,000 cameras, a Mexican security and surveillance deployment. And then a fifth partner, which is the semiconductor company, who, by the way, is the largest equity participant, all five of them. They're likely to go public, come out of stealth mode in the second quarter of this year. And I've been banging the drum saying, how do you market to brand new customers, brand new ideas and concept if you're under the covers? We'll have a different philosophy, a different approach. I want to tell the world what we're doing. So they're planning to do that in the month of May. And when that comes out, Visibility shareholders can track the activities of Austin GIS along with tracking the activities of Visibility to understand how the value assessment is occurring.
And that's going to be another item on our balance sheet, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because Visibility owns 10% of is.
It will absolutely be on our balance sheet. The challenge right now, without an independent valuation of Austin GIS, it's a pick 'em right now. So we're going through our audit for 21 right now. It's happening right now, and we haven't settled on how we're gonna allow for that, how it gets booked on our balance sheet. That's a 21 problem. It won't be a 22 problem because
it's going to be public and it's going to be out there. We're going to see it.
Right.
All right. So can't wait for that. Can't wait for that to happen and have you back on to discuss when that happens. So you're talking about May, you're talking about second quarter.
This is what they're telling me. Yes.
All right. Yeah. And I'm sure they might have even gone sooner if not for the weaker market conditions for tech. Maybe that's why.
Well, they're not going public. They're not going public like IPO. They're just telling the world what they're doing.
Okay.
So yeah, and the reasons why I mean, I'm being told it has to do with website collateral, all the things necessary to be ready to be consumed by the market. But I can tell you they're doing exceptionally well, landing a bunch of deals, and we sit at the core of many of those deals. So that's good for us.
Do you ever? I'm going to ask you about Sensormatic, but I have to just stay with that line of the discussion right there. Do you ever pinch yourself and say, "I can't believe that Visibility is at the core of so many different major initiatives with some of the biggest companies in the world"? Do you ever pinch yourself and say, I can't believe it's actually even though you envisioned it. Sometimes when it's actually happening, you can't believe it.
I know what you're saying, and I'm not saying that I take it for granted, because I absolutely don't. But I think about execution challenges, and I'm not saying we have any overwhelming, burning forest fires, but always in every company, there's things that you want to address, there's things you want to optimize, there's personnel issues you want to address. We've just opened up an office in San Diego, which gives our guys a place to go, as opposed to working from COVID, where they're working from their homes. We're building a large lab there, a customer lab. So I only say that because no, I don't actually pinch myself, because I sort of move beyond that. Not to suggest to take it for granted, but I move beyond it and think about, okay, what are the responsibilities we now have to make that dream a reality?
Yeah, and that's what makes you a great CEO. While the rest of us can pinch ourselves at home as shareholders, that's what makes you the guy at the tip of the spear. Okay. Last question, because I know you got to run. Sensormatic. That's a big collaboration, big partnership. Status update there?
I feel comfortable talking about them this way because I talk to them this way about them. They're so damn slow. But
that's big companies for you.
Looks like the second quarter of this year, our first major product announcement, which was telegraphed in June of last year. If people want to go back and look, they did a press release. I remember talking to you about this, George. Yep. They did a press release about how they're doubling down on the visibility stack. The first product that comes as a result of that doubling down is going to be announced in the second quarter with initial customers. So we waited a long time, years, for that relationship to kind of deliver on its promise. And we spent a lot of time. You can imagine how much time you're spending transferring knowledge from your group to their group so they can stand by themselves as adults in the room and go ahead and take the message and narrative forward. That's now happening. We have weekly updates with them that is focused on sales. We never had that before. So there's incremental progress that I would say suggests a healthier 22 with respect to Sensormatic. We have a book number for them in our budget. And I think they're going to achieve that. It's larger than it's ever been before.
Wow. And for everybody, by the way, Sensormatic is a Johnson Controls company. And you guys together are looking to take insights to help retailers make better business decisions.
And that is the basis of the new product initiative. It's providing more insights to retailers in real time.
Jay, thanks for joining us, my man. I can't really, we're at 30 minutes. And I know that 30 minutes is incredibly valuable for you in Mexico, but I appreciate it. And more importantly, your shareholders appreciate it. Great to see that everything is going really well and really robust. And like I keep saying, I don't worry about the next 2 weeks. I don't think about the next 2 months. I can't wait to see where visibility is going to be in 2 years in 2024. And it's positioned as well as it can be positioned, and execution's up to you now.
I agree. Thanks for your time, George.
Thanks, Shay. For everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform. To Jay Hutton, CEO of Visibility Group, trades in Canada under VSBY. For our friends in the US, VSBGF. And for our friends in Europe, on Frankfurt under 5VS. Do your due diligence, get to Agoracom, take a look at the company's profile page, because there's so much going on here. You can't absorb it all. We give you that 1,000-foot view. And then from there, hop over to the company's website, do your deep dive due diligence. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time. Hey guys, the video's over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our YouTube channel so you never miss another great Agoracom small cap video.